Hey guys, this is Brad from Max Rarity again, back with you for part 2 of my deck building series. So just getting everything pulled up here, like we talked about last time. So obviously, last time we went over picking your Pokemon, picking your theme. And so here's pretty much, I think, how we left it last time. And then 4 spaces for whatever. So what we're going to be talking about today is staples and the ratios that you kind of need for a deck. So obviously once you've picked your Pokemon, you need to see how many Pokemon you have. In this one, we have 18 Pokemon. And so most likely what we're going to have is probably 12 energy, just because we have so many Pokemon out there. So that leaves our ratios is 18, 20, and then, or 18 and 12. So half of our deck is Pokemon and energy, then half of our deck is going to be supporters and items. So once we have everything there for this, then we have to go through and really look at what are our staples that we're going to have after we've picked out our Pokemon. And obviously some Pokemon in here are staples, like Tapu Lele, which you're going to have 2 to 3 of. Most people are running an Espeon, just because Espeon is very good right now. And then some people are playing Necrozma as a staple. It just really depends on really what staples you're looking at. So when we're looking at our Pokemon, we really only have like 2 to 3 staples really in there. So it does give us a lot of room. So now when we go to supporters, we have... This is most likely our staples. So here are at least 12 cards that we know that we're going to have to play. So for supporters, and then when we go to items, we have our 4 Ultra Balls, Choice Bands, Field Blowers. So it's another 9 cards that then can fill in the rest of it with open spaces, really, when it comes down to a few things. So, let me look. So, if we have 9 open spaces for this, because when you're looking at energy, you're going to be looking at 4 rainbow energy for DC, and then kind of fill in wherever you're going to need it. So, and then we have here. So these are basically our staples of our deck for our energy and for all of this. So, with this many Pokemon, we really want our ratio to energy to be really high. So we really want to get 12 in there. We really don't want to cut things. You really are going to basically have to have all of it. So when we look at our energy, we look at our Pokemon, really probably what we're going to want is at least 2 dark energy, because dark is going to be a good thing to have. Obviously rainbows can count as that, so I would put 2 dark, and then depending on what you have over here, so with your open spots, really depends on really what you're going to have. So if you're really running colorless, then it really doesn't matter, but if you're running more like, say, Tapu Fini with a Glaceon, you could put 2 water in there, or 2 splash in there. If you want to run more water basics. There's a really cool new card that came out, which I'm really excited about, and it is, it was announced, so it's called Mo Rotom, and so I'm excited about it. I don't know about you guys, but Mo Rotom is going to be pretty cool, so I'm super excited for when it comes out. No, too high. There we go. There we go. So I know I'm excited about it. So now that we have kind of our basic setup for our ratios, then the big ratio, or the 2 differences, is where do we want to make these. Since we're kind of going for an anti-meta game, I always suggest making the supporter lineup heavier than the lineup for items, about, I don't know how I would do it, but like, I would put in probably one more item, which would be special charge, and then I would put in parallel cities. And that's kind of where I would leave that. And then I would focus on my supporters, because then it allows me to have a lot more room to put in things that can be useful to me. So one of the big things that I'm probably going to be looking at is, where's my Ninja Boy? Is because these are basics, which is really good, then we can use our Ninja Boys. Oh. I would actually put an arranger room in here. Because for draw support. So then I would definitely, well, obviously you're going to rush these treasures, so that takes our item count to 14, which means we have 16 here. 16 open spots, or for that, so that leaves us 4 more spots. I would definitely probably run the Ninja Boys, and I would run it at 2, because you do have a whole bunch of different things, and you can get out whatever you want. And it allows you to randomly, if you're at 1 prize card go, Ninja Boy for Kartana, take the game, and just take the last prize, which I think is really neat. So it allows for neat tricks like that. So if you want, so for this, what I would do is this is kind of how I would play it. And since we're doing a longer game, you may want to think of alternate draw supporters. So you could play something like Wick. Like 2 Wick, 2 Ninja Boy. Or when Cynthia comes out, you'll probably most likely be playing Cynthia. So then you would run 2 Cynthia, 2 Ninja Boy. For that, it's kind of how I would play it. Really, it really depends on how you want to do it. Obviously, this deck with the free retreat really means a lot of stuff that focuses on killing a Garbodor, because Garbodor is really big right now. So you could randomly put in Chaos Wheel. Well, I wouldn't put in Chaos Wheel, but Chimecho, for example, to run with Marshadow, just so they can't get it up. And just kind of deal with that. Because Chimecho is really interesting. But really, mostly what you want to do in a deck like this, for example, as we build it, we just want to kind of think, what's good, what supporters are not going to kill me late game? That's really the big deal, is what supporters are not going to kill me if I draw them late game. That's the biggest deal out of all of it. And that's really the biggest deal out of any deck when you're looking at a supporter and you're running with when you're looking at the ratios with the supporter line, is you definitely, for sure, never want to have things in your deck that are going to kill you late game. I mean, because late game is kind of where it's at. And like, for this deck, for example, it probably doesn't do good against Coco, so Mr. Mime's pretty good in here. If you're taking out the Mr. Mime, I would honestly take out the Marshadow, to be honest. Because really, when you put in a Marshadow, it can just become like a Marshadow deck, and without 3 of them, you're not really going to be getting backup. But for the most part, what you want to do is sit behind a Jolteon and Glaceon with these on the field, because even without Silvally, that's a good block, because they're like, well, what are you going to use me for? If you have anything that's on your bench that's going to kill something, so it kind of makes their supporters irrelevant late game, which you kind of really want to do, in my opinion. I mean, obviously, like, you could really make it, so this is kind of like a fun thing, in my opinion. I thoroughly enjoy it, but like, so those are kind of the ratios that I would go with in a deck like this, because really you're looking at a longer game. So you kind of want to have more supporters when you need them. You could even probably cut down the energy to only 10 energy, and then just simply run 2 more supporters. You could run things like Plumeria or Sophocles, for example, or let me see what else I have. If you wanted to, you could run another one of this and then a Bridget, for example, just to be able to get out the Hoopas, which isn't necessarily a bad idea. So then, like, you cut down to 10 energy, and then your main focus is basically, like I said, it's musical chairs. It's bringing out whatever you need to kind of counter what's going on, which, because of these open spots, allows you to do that really well. So, with this meta, we kind of really, sadly, there are, like I said, some staples that you kind of have to have. Mr. Mime, or in some cases, you're going to be looking at a Giratina, sadly. Like, you're just going to have to play them, depending on the meta that you're looking at. Because if you're looking at a lot of Galissapod Garb, you just kind of need to go Mr. Mime, because they're going to be running Coco. Or Buzzwall, for example. Mr. Mime it. Because it forces them to deal with Mr. Mime first, and then you just rush Cheshire back, and they just go, no, you can't kill me. And with all the other things, you're just going to be able to deal with them quicker. In my opinion. That's kind of like, when I'm looking at this deck going, hey, this is kind of what I want to play, that's kind of how I go with it. So now that we've talked about the ratios of things to kind of make sure that, like, you always have energy and make sure that you always have everything else, let's talk supporters. So obviously, when building a deck, one of the big things you need to look at is what supporters are going to help me. So obviously, for some decks you're going to be running, for most decks you're going to be running 4 Sycamore, because you really want to get there quickly. It's kind of a staple. You can always cut it down. What I do when I run supporters, like say I run 3 wick, I actually take this out, and so I end up running 11 supporters. I run a 3-3-3-2 line. So I run, oh, where's Kukui? There he is. So I end up running this line, which is 3 Sycamore, 3 Wick, 3 N, 2 Kukui. Because here's how I look at it. This is for early game. This is for the mid game. Kind of like they're waiting for a refresh. They haven't really gotten it yet. So like you are refreshing your hand as you are playing a little bit slower. And then this is for the end game. So this is to end them to 1. This is to make sure that they don't have resources, can't keep getting resources back. And then Kukui's just, it's there for the damage. That's normally how I play the line, personally. It'll be a little bit different with Cynthia, because Wick comes out for Cynthia. I mean, Wick's really, I like Wick, it can help you, but there are times where like you need that extra N, or you need a couple extra N, so Cynthia's just going to be a better option. Because if you're going slower, that means you're drawing a lot of your hand. So you just, oh, I'm drawing low on cards. Well, no, I'm not. That's kind of why I like N. Especially with things like Sacred in the format. You kind of just get to like go like, and these 12 cards back, draw 2. I can go for 10 more turns. So that's how I do it if I am running this many draw support. When I run a deck like Hoopa Ninetales, for example, or even Marshadow sometimes when I look at it, because you do run the extra Sophocles, like, because it's supposed to run slow and it's supposed to deter your opponent, you really want to have as much draw support as you can. I suggest at least 10 draw supporters. Everyone's like, well, I play 9. Well, really 10 to 11's better. Like, to be honest, in this deck that we're building, the Savali deck, I actually probably would put another Kukui. Because it just randomly gives us an extra little bit of damage. So I'll actually probably end up running 12, 3, 3, 3, 3. Because while we do have these other supporters that we're going to be playing, like we're going to be playing the Guzmas, and the Ninja Boys, and the Bridget, we're not really needing, like, those are like one-ofs. Except for the Guzma, because Guzma's is fantastic. And it's a staple. So, like, these like 3 open spots that we randomly have like allow us like a big opportunity of like what we want to do. Like if we want to run like 3 Ninja Boy and just run 3 Ninja Boy and just run 3, 3, 3, 3, 3 and run 6 things of 3, it really helps our consistency. So it's really going to be a good match when we're running all of those, right? And that's really kind of what you want to do. You want to make it consistent, because even with Lele being able to pull a supporter out, it's a prize card. It's 2 prizes on your bench. I look, like, especially from me playing Hoopa Ninetales for so long, and playing Marshadow, and it's just like, you really don't want Guzma both targets. You really don't. In this game where Guzma is, I Guzma for the game, it was like Lysander. You want to try to stop having just prizes that are just going to sit there. Not only are they taking up space, but they just sit there, doing nothing. So like one of the things that I like, specifically, is Parallelcity. Parallelcity kind of takes care of that. Because what you can do is Parallelcity yourself, get rid of it, rest your back, go get another supporter. Which I like. I think it's really nice. So that's kind of where I sit on supporters. It's really more, is a supporter going to kill me late game? Is what it comes down to. If I don't need it early, will me drawing it to have 1 card kill me? And that's what I like to get rid of. So like, Bridget, we really only want 1 of her because we only want to see her when we pull her out. That's really what it comes down to. We want to be able to go Lele for the Bridget. That's why we run 1. I think you could personally pull up another Ninja Boy and run 3. I think Ninja Boy's still good in this deck. It allows you to swap in and out of things. It allows you to get rid of a Lele. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've gone just to thin my deck, because I didn't have anything, I didn't need anything else to do. I have this random Lele in my hand I don't want to get rid of. So I Lele for Ninja Boy for a Hoopa, for example, and just go, well, put Lele back in my deck. And have something they can't hit. So that's something you could definitely look at. You know, bump that up. Obviously, so Valdi's kind of, it's a niche deck, it's cute, it just kind of is what it is. But the good thing is, if you're running more energy, it would be more useful, because what it does is it recycles energy. So, it's kind of something you could do and kind of look at. But there's kind of how I look at staples when I'm running a deck, and staples when I'm putting a deck together. Because it's everything, like there are so many good supporters, and there are so many good things out there that you can just, so many different choices you can make with your deck, that when it comes down to making a decision, it has to be as consistent as possible, in something that won't kill you late game. Because if it does, like, I can't tell you how many times I've played a game against someone, and it's like, oh, well, I have this wick. It's okay. But, or when I had Hoopa Ninetales, or Hoopa Ninetales, oh, I drew a Bridget. Okay. Like, this is absolutely not useful. I have a full bench now. Or it gets prized, and then you just like, oh, it's a dead prize at that point. So that's kind of like how you can look at things. You can also obviously add a Gladion to help deal with some of those issues. That's kind of where I sit on how to run things and how to build things. I have a lot of fun with my decks. I hope you guys have a lot of fun with my decks too. Thanks for watching, and may life be as max ready as my decks. Have a great day.